Hello, hello. We are live, and I'm going to just keep my eye out for my co-host since this is going to be my author's chat of the week. But yeah, we'll be talking about books, writing, self-publishing, and I've actually worked or chatted with Caitlin before, but it's been a moment. I think it's been about a year, and I know on her end, her journey as a writer has changed dramatically. So that's pretty cool, and I can't wait to catch up and see what's been going on her side of things. But hey, everyone, happy evening or afternoon, depending where you are. Maybe some people are way late night. I am not a late night owl, so this is the later side of lives for me. But I'll keep my eye out since I know she's more or less going to be jumping on at any moment. But let me know, how are you doing? How's your week going? I know it's only Tuesday. It might feel like a Friday or midweek already, but hey, how are you, David? Yeah, I'm just rambling until my co-host joins. I don't see her at this moment. I know she was around a moment ago, so we'll see. But anywho, cool news. For my TikTok side, not TikTok, Kickstarter side of things, I finally got all my packages out, so they are heading in the direction of all the people who supported my Kickstarter, and I've been working on some cool little ideas. Oh, thank you, Cat Paws. Thank you, appreciate it. Yes, I write all the books you see in the background or some of my examples, and let me know what you thought about the D&D movie. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, some of the fun things that I did for the Kickstarter talking about D&D is came up with, I think she's wrapped up pretty tightly, but a little miniature of my main character, Katie of Earth, and my fiance came up with a cool subclass sheet for D&D people and character sheets as well, so now they can go together to people who are fans of fantasy, be it now literature or more tabletop role-playing games. So that's a lot of fun. I wonder where she is. I know I jumped on a little early, and she probably a little late. It's okay. That's what happens when you're a mom. I see you. Here we go. See if she... Ha! Fit! Oh, nope. Try it again. Try to.
Hello.
Hello! Where are you? I hear you, I don't see you.
I don't know. God, I'm so bad at this.
I'm just like, I
Let's
hear you. I
see.
hear a voice.
Multi. Uh, Sorry, I was waiting for like your invite, so I didn't know what you were doing, if you were just like saying hello first, so I apologize.
No worries. I was trying to
Um,
send you an invite, but it wasn't. It could be my internet's been flickering, has been flickering for the past couple weeks. So, that probably was
oh,
my fault. Maybe go out and come back in.
okay.
I'll try to see if I see you live. Sometimes I can see people live, and again, you have to go live as well.
Okay.
Or so if you haven't gone live, that may be the thing, and then you just get out and go back in. We'll figure it out. There's always glitches in the beginning, but we'll get it. We will get it. But yeah, let's see, and then think of awesome bookish questions. We'll be ready to roll in just a moment. Hopefully. Hopefully. There's always something that goes on. Let's see. Do not see you yet. We'll figure this out. Anywho, but yeah, so some cool things are going on. I'm finally got a printer, which sounds like the most boring thing to announce, but it's fantastic for me because there are a lot of things bookish that I want to test and prep before I get them professionally printed. And hi! Hey, now I got it.
Oh,
It's okay. We got it. We got it.
definitely a cannonball into hot sauce. Yes, it was, David. Thank you for reading. So with the Deep, I was actually contacted by A.R. Ward. She kind of put this whole thing together on Twitter, and I do a lot of horror prompts. So every story is only 100 words each. So each one is from a different author. So and it's really cool. So it's just we have the theme of the deep, and your stories could range from, puddles on the ground to bathtubs to something terrifying in the ocean. So I love being part of these anthologies because there's so many different ways that the author can interpret it and take the story.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's one thing I have not tested or tampered with at the moment is anthologies. I love this
Yeah.
idea, but I think for me I'm concerned of like trying to come up with a story depending on whatever the theme is of the anthology, because most have a theme, and
Right.
doing it in a timely manner and making it sound good. And like you said, it takes a while for a lot of people to write and get things out there. And so I don't know, having a time crunch kind of stresses me out.
Yeah, I totally get that. I am going to Sinful Signings in September down in Virginia. It's going to be this big author event, kind of book signing, masquerade ball type thing, and the theme is the seven deadly sins. So yeah, and they're putting together an anthology, and you have to write a short story. They want it 5,000 words or less.
Okay.
I kind of went over just a little bit, but hopefully they'll still take it. And my sin was envy. So I don't know how they're going to break it up and like if each sin will be represented, because that'd be really cool. But it worked out in my other anthology that I was in. This one is more like local authors. This is like straight horror. So in this one, I have a Snow White like body horror retelling, and it fits perfectly with the Seven Deadly Sins one. So I really lucked out that I already had one written, ready to go.
Oh yeah. So okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like you've been doing a lot of anthologies
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been really great because I never personally like reading. I never was big into anthologies. I preferred, like a full length story. But I was asked, on Twitter, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do one. This one I was also asked, and I got paid to do this one. That was really cool.
You love
um,
that.
yeah. So those are rare opportunities, but I've come to really love anthologies. You just get to see so many different styles, I think, which is really cool. And if you don't like one of the stories, you can just flip to the next one. So that's also really nice I don't feel bad like DNFing books anymore.
Well, no, that makes sense. And like for a reader, when you actually invest in an anthology, you're being able to have a little taste of a various author. So then if you want to pursue, an
Right.
author's style, now you know which ones to maybe invest into a larger work. Because I do have a couple anthologies from way back, and one of them is like on the Green Man concept, and I'm pretty sure some of the ones who were submitted in there were from some very iconic authors of the time,
Mhm.
and it was one of the first experiences I had of their work was through the anthology. And
Yeah.
also as an author, it's a great cross
Yeah.
promotion, because it's hard enough for an author, especially like indie authors, to find ways to reach a volume of people, and being able to have 15 or 50, depending on what you're doing,
Right.
people all talking about the same book. It gets it
Yeah.
out there. So I
It
do.
definitely does. And that's like this one. I don't know. Do you know Caytlyn Patrick Burke, who's on here? He's Irish.
Sounds
Um,
familiar, but I don't know if I've had the
if you've
pleasure to
seen
meet him yet.
him. He's fabulous. I met him on Twitter years ago, and now he's like come over to TikTok. But he is an exceptional horror author, and he has a
Yeah.
story in here. So, like you were saying, like it just like by association, I'm just kind of like putting my little face right in with them. So it's a really cool opportunity. I also really like anthologies, especially ones that I haven't personally like had to write or put together, because at events, like in-person events, they're really great to like add to volume for my table. So the more I've found, the more books I have to offer, the more I sell. Which it sounds like, yeah, of course, but it just, if someone doesn't like, Greek mythology, then they might like straight horror. So it's a really nice way to add that volume without doing all of the work yourself. So I just get to buy author copies, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I should invest more time going forward into maybe picking up one or two of those opportunities, because I've seen them before and I've been asked to participate. But again, I've always been hesitant because I'm just like, when I see that deadline already hard and set in stone, I'm like,
Oh no!
I don't usually get writer's block, but I feel like I could like stress myself out on that one.
I definitely can see that. For me, like, and I've tried before, and it's kind of come and gone, and I'm like, darn it, I really wanted to do that one, but it just, I didn't get to it. So it's been really cool to, I like the Twitter ones because they're only 100 words, and I'm really, skilled at doing it because I try to tweet every day. So I'm used to all those like little challenges and games. So those are really fun. And then I do work well under pressure. So, but at the same time, it is hard because I have to neglect a lot of other things to do it. So little balance.
It's always a balance, and you have to just figure out what works best for you. And
Right.
yeah, I feel like of the authors that I know on Twitter, you rock that platform. I usually hear opposite from authors that like that's the one they don't get. I struggle with it, but you rock that platform.
Oh, thank you.
But it's true. I'm just saying the truth.
And it's so funny that you say that because I struggled for so long with Twitter, and when Wired came out, one of my other books, my publisher was like, "You have to get on Twitter. You have to do." This was before TikTok. Like, you have to do something for social media to promote your books, because I just hated it. So I got on there, just started doing it, and I've had a lot of people, and I have had a lot of success on Twitter, which is awesome. I have people who will reach out and say like, "Well, how did you do it?" And I found sharing your success and all of your accomplishments on Twitter is the absolute best way to kind of put yourself out there, which is funny because it's a really nice celebratory community. So like those posts I put, like I just put up, I had a great sale today. Like somebody came onto my website and bought every single one of my books and ordered them. So
that is a great sale.
yeah, I was just like, oh my God. And it's like not like blown up viral, anything like that, but it's really great to just have that support. So that's mainly what I do on Twitter. And then I'll do the fun like games, like with the horror prompts and the word of the day.
No, you're really good at those.
Yeah. I enjoy those.
Yeah, for me, it's like trying to always come up with ideas of what to ask for those kind of prompt-like stuff. But every time I look at you, I'm like, oh, wow, you're so nice.
Oh, thanks. That's so funny.
Also, because you were mentioning about selling on your website, that's something like I sell authors' copies, but it's through Etsy. So kind of like a side bubble where I link it to my website, but it's a separate entity. And I think one of my goals for the latter half of this year is trying to move more of my shop and create a better shop on my website. So I just want to know, how did you do that? What program, what website is your holder?
I actually can't take like any credit. My friend Brad, he is a graphic designer, and I met him on Twitter, and he was just like, here, I'll make you a website. And I was like, okay. And he used Wix, and it's been great. And like it's nothing fancy. After this, if you want, it's the link in my bio on TikTok, and it's definitely not perfect. So, but I mean, it's on there. Like I have all of my books. You can read excerpts from the books. You can order signed copies. It'll bring you to Amazon or Barnes and Noble, wherever you'd like to buy it, or you can order signed copies from me, which has been really cool. The only thing I haven't really figured out yet is how to like take payment on that website.
Okay.
So I just have to reach out to someone via email and say, oh, do you prefer Venmo or PayPal kind of thing? So
Okay. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm working on.
Yeah, I know. I think because I also use Wix. I either they added a feature or they've updated a feature, but I've started getting notifications saying, "Hey, if you want to upgrade to the next level, you can build out a fancy smancy shop." So that may now
Oh,
that new version may be a way where you can add in the payment aspect. That's something I'm trying to look into again
yeah,
towards the latter half of this year.
right.
I think that would be.
I think that would be it'd be so handy. It would, yeah. I because I'm terrible about you have to pay for premium for a shop. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Sam just popped in. Yeah. So, and I just use the free one. So I could probably definitely upgrade, but I'm just doing it for free right now. And it's
It's
been working.
affordable what you can afford. And if it's
Yeah,
working the way it's
exactly.
working, yeah. Now the cool
Yeah.
thing is I did notice that when you upgrade, again, like you said, yes, you have to pay to play, but they do have some cool features like a print on demand option for like t-shirts and stuff, which I'm like,
Oh,
ooh, wouldn't that be cool having a quote or, character art of your, characters, I don't know, things I'm looking into, like that would be cool.
so you should also, I don't know if you've seen my videos about it, but my friend Kelsey on TikTok, her handle is Reader Leisure. She's a graphic designer. And
Ooh.
I actually have some stuff here. This is so handy. She has made all of my character art. She was the first one to, and like I have
Oh,
bookmarks that she's made, and they have tassels,
great.
and they're tin. Like it's
That's nice.
really good stuff. And she's made me stickers, and I have water bottles, and what she's done is on her site, I don't have to pay anything for it. She just advertises, like I have my own like Caytlyn Brooke like little
Aw.
section on her website, and she said that she's already had sales like of like character candles and magnets and bookmarks, and she just sells it right there. So if people want my book merchandise, because I buy a ton to put at my table, but if I don't have something, I'm like, oh, here, and I direct them to her website and they can buy it right through there. So
Hmm.
it's been this incredible partnership between us, and she's so sweet. And you just contact her and she'll make whatever you want. I even have for Baker's Wife, I have a shirt with a little gingerbread man on it, and it says, I licked it, so it's mine. So,
Yes, a
so
little spice of little
yeah,
spice
just a
of
little.
gingerbread.
Can
I
you
love that.
send us her thing? Yes, I definitely can, Sam. She's fabulous, and she's looking to partner with more authors, so that might be an idea.
Thank you. Yeah, I will definitely have to like remember to re-listen to this section because I don't have anything to write it down right now, and I'll be like,
I'll send it to you.
thank you, because I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna remember. I will not remember. I will be
No,
like,
I'm
but
the
there
same
was that
way.
cool shop.
Hi, Ophelia.
But yeah, that's the cool thing about this platform. You meet so many people of all kinds, and they all just want to help each other out, be it the character art or the merch shops or the book box people and all kind of things. I've not attempted a book box, but I know people are bundling that kind of stuff and giving them out
Yeah,
and distributing and all that kind of cool things.
it's
Fantastic.
awesome. And it's so funny because in real life, like I don't have like any friends. Like it just doesn't work. I don't leave my house. Like I don't. So I come on here and I'll do Twitter, and I just have such a massive community of friends who just want to like just help and be happy, and it's just great.
Well, you're also a writer, and you have other things that keep you entertained at your house, and
I do. Two of them.
yep, yep.
Oh, hey, Jess. Actually, Jess is my friend in real life. My one real friend. I have. She's here.
Hello,
Well,
one
she
friend.
was.
But no,
Oh,
I
that's
think
fun.
that is so cool about like meeting people on platforms like this and developing and creating real relationships because of that, I've actually met some other book talk authors in real life because, going to events and everything. And it's just really cool. It's just a different way to make friends.
Yeah. And it's been, just like Sam said, it's all about the community, and it's been incredible. So if you know Chelsea Banning on here, we've been friends for a long time, and we met through TikTok. And I did an event with her in Ohio in January, and she was my first like book talker to meet in real life. So that was really exciting.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, for me it was Jason Duro who's on here. He was the one who invited me to attend Dragon Con, and because of that I met a couple other authors on here as well. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say comment popped up from David saying, "You're not alone, Caitlin. I'm a hermit too that spends too much time on here as well."
Right. Well,
it's okay.
It's so fun because like Sam is saying, we're gonna go to Sinful Signings together in Virginia, and then Ophelia, who's also here, we're going to Tampa to the Book Talk Gowns and Crowns event next month. So it's so exciting. I love it. I think it's a great way for like adults to just like have fun and hang out.
Oh yeah, that is 100% true, and that's cool that you're going to Gowns and Crowns. I've heard a couple other people mentioning that, and you have to let me know after the fact how you enjoy it, because it sounds like a very exciting event.
Oh my gosh, I was so sad I didn't get tickets for the first one last year. And then this one, I was like, oh, I'm definitely interested. And they said, oh, okay, well, do you want to be one of our authors? And I was like, yes! So, I have my dress, like, because it's a masquerade ball. So it's a big, puffy gold thing. So I'm so excited for that.
I love it. So when you are, because it sounds like you travel a lot for signings and things like that, how many books do you bring? Like, what is your setup? I need to like know this so I can like down the line be awesome and do stuff like that.
That's a really good question. When I do them like locally, because I have my van, so I'll just bring like my boxes and I'll just bring them in on my table. I'll put out like 5 of each book and then restock. For what's it called? When I'm going to Tampa, because I have to fly them, so that's the tricky part. And I've gone to signings before where I had to bring them, and this one was out in South Dakota a few years ago, and I brought way too many books. And I was like trying, like after the event, it was like this, it was outdoors, and it was this horrible rain and sleet and wind. So I did not sell many books. So I had to run around town, like just trying to like give them to bookstores and libraries because I didn't want to pay to fly them home. So I think for like this coming event, I'm not going to bring like my anthologies. I'm going to bring just my books, and I'll probably do like 8 or so copies of each. We have a Facebook group for the Book Talk Gowns and Crowns, and I tried to put up like, hey, if anyone, really wants one, let me know. So that way I can like bring it down, but I didn't get any hits. So I was like, all right, well, we're going to roll with 8 each and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Here's an idea for you is come up with a little sign with your covers and maybe, whatever you want to do as your tags for the books you're not bringing, and a QR code to your website.
Oh,
so then people, I want that, you QR code and say, I'll be shipping it out as soon as I get back. Make those sales. You want to make those sales.
I think that sounds great. I've had sorry, my cat is like pressing her face against my window. I have had such bad luck with QR codes because I had these beautiful designed business cards and I had the little QR code on there. And it turned out like my QR code was only good for like 7 days. And then they like retracted it and were like, you need to pay us $400 or
Wait,
you
who
can't
did
have
this? Wait,
I don't know. It was some random like thing that I found. I just Googled, make your own QR code because I talked to another
Nope,
author and she told me, oh, use this site. It was like QR code generator and it
nope,
was a scam.
nope. Yeah, I when I create QR codes at this moment, and so far so good, I use Canva, so the platform that helps you design a lot of stuff, because they have one part was like, do you want to do a QR code for your project?
Oh, because I use Canva. I mean, I should do my newsletters more. I only do like 3 a year. I'm terrible at them, but that's fabulous. I love Canva.
Yeah. So yeah, check it out. Like
Oh,
I don't remember what tab it's under, but yeah, you should have that feature on. I think even the basic level. So
that's awesome. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
so there
I'm
you go.
so
Now
excited.
make those sales.
Yes. And then that'd be a perfect idea. And then Sam just said I have QR codes for all my events, but they do Kindle Unlimited books. And I only have Baker's Wife on Kindle Unlimited because I wish I could get these ones on there, but with my publisher, they suck, so I can't.
May I poke that question? Because I don't know if everybody knows your backstory, what's been going on, but I just didn't know how much of that topic you wanted to talk about.
Fine. No worries.
Yeah, because I know the last, again, it was like a year ago when we
Yeah.
talked, you were going through a publishing, I don't remember if it was a small print or a larger print publishing house, and since then you're kind of trying to go separate ways.
Yes.
To put it
To
nicely.
put it nicely. I actually contacted the Authors Guild and I got lawyers from them, and we were trying to go back and get all of my books. And unfortunately, the Authors Guild, their lawyers were not the best, so it didn't really go anywhere. But I was able, because before with Among the Hunted, just a quick backstory for people. It's about sexual assault survivors and gives voice to them overcoming that trauma and healing and finding their voice and, killing their abuser. And it's Greek mythology based. And my publisher signed me for all 3 books and they were ready to go. They loved it. I originally had this like toned down, like a Percy Jackson retelling, but they said, hey, we're going to make you an adult author so that way you can explore those themes of addiction and assault and, ooh, sorry, that just popped on, addiction and assault. Now I'm brighter. And you won't be limited by like a YA genre. So I was like, okay, yeah. So the first one came out. They refused to put trigger warnings on it, and it's heavy stuff. Like it's not an easy book. And I was like pleading with them, and they're just like, no, the big 5 don't do it. We're not going to do it. So that's why I was going like crazy on social media saying, okay, it has this in it. Like every time somebody would ask about it. Yeah, I was just like, wait. So trying to do my due diligence there. And then in August of 2022, I was waiting for my edits, my like developmental edits for the second book. They were just about to release the second cover, and my edits were taking a really long time. And when I finally asked them, I'm like, what is going on? They're like, we're scrapping the whole series. We're canceling it. We don't want anything to do with sexual assault. Take it completely out of the book or we refuse. And I was speechless because they're telling me maybe in a few more years, back when, Me Too and sexual assault gets trendy again. And I was like,
Okay.
okay. I lost. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
I fought with them and I was able, because they were saying based in my contract that I could not self-publish the rest of the series until September of 2025. And I was like, that is a long time. But I went through with the lawyers and I fought it, and I was able to get it to March 2024. So
Oh, okay.
that was a huge win. So now I am, and it's funny, they actually fired the editor who I worked with on this book. They let everybody go. Like it's just they're a very shady company. And
There are a few out there I've heard of.
yes, and they're like a mid-level press, an indie press, and like they were getting mad at me for calling myself an indie author, but like Barnes and Noble is like advertising my books as like best indie author picks. So I'm like, what do you want from me? Like I don't know what their issue was, but I have a wonderful cover designer and I'm working with that editor who worked on my first book. So we're getting the second one ready and hopefully it'll be ready for spring of 2024. All self-published, which will be amazing.
Yeah. No, that's good. And gives you a little bit of time to prep and come up with, campaign strategies, or not campaign, promotion strategies and everything.
Right.
And David popped up. I was wondering if you were listening to this because I talked with him a few weeks ago. He had kind of a similar experience with you in different ways. But yeah, he said, I can't wait till you're free of your publisher. They're so awful because his experience with a smaller publishing group was not great.
Yeah, he actually reached out to me as well when all that was happening because because he had seen my videos and they were horrendous, the way that they treated him, and it just, I don't understand how these companies can just turn around out of nowhere and just be like, okay, then leave. And it's like, oh, it just drives me insane. Sam, thank you very much. She just said I picked up a copy when it was on sale. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think the problem is because there's no standardization and nobody that's regulating quality of a lot of these smaller presses. There can be some great ones out there because I've heard some people who have fantastic experiences, and then there are some that, like you said, maybe are shady or just don't know what they're doing and they're floundering or who knows what. But you could argue, I guess, something similar for true, indie authors, because we aren't held to certain standards. There's going to be some that, try to do everything you can to put out the best quality book you can possibly do and, do all the steps. And there are others who probably cut corners just to have something out.
And I've definitely seen both. I think now it's gotten so much better because indie authors have so many more resources available.
Yes.
Like when I first started, oh my God, this was back in like 2009, and I used CreateSpace. That's not even around anymore, and it was rough. Like I couldn't afford an editor, so my book was riddled with horrendous mistakes. But I mean, you definitely learn from it, and you learn from all those experiences. And now, because indie, like, it's just grown so much, and there's so many people who are like, hey, I can narrate your book, or I can do the cover designer, I can do the interior layout, I saw one today. She did these beautiful sprayed edges on the book.
Yes, those are so popular right now.
I want that.
I'm trying to remember. There was someone, and I think I screenshotted it. Someone on Instagram who's trying to work with indie authors to spray their edges of their books if they want specially sprayed edges. And she was doing like 25 for like 100 or something, in one color, but like sprayed edge design. So I was like, because if I don't do it myself, which I'm sure that's a skill, and I don't want to waste a lot of copies making duds. But I know that is very popular right now, and they do look really cool, and they're limited edition or special edition things, and people love that.
They're so cool. I would love to get that done. I asked her to do a tutorial on it, so she said you only need like watercolor brushes. So maybe I'll try one and just be like, see how it goes.
Like the book clamps to make sure the edges don't dry wonky and to make sure they're very flat. But yeah, there were little tricks I've seen because I've been watching a lot of the videos being like, can I teach myself this, or should I hire a professional?
Sam just said clamp and tape. See, I never would have even thought that. I would have just been like, la la la, done. My book would have been like,
Hey, sometimes you just have to like test a few things out. And yes, I see a comment popping up telling J.R. Martin to get back to work. I understand. I feel the same. But
that's
yeah,
so
no,
funny.
it is kind of interesting. Just testing out different things. Sometimes for me, I always stumble the wrong way before I figure it out right. It feels like, but you got to test things out.
Oh,
And
definitely.
if you sprayed edges, like did a design for Among the Hunted, what would you do? What kind of design? Would it be like a Grecian scroll or something fancier?
I think I would want to do it because if you can see, it's like kind of teal.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I would do teal, like a teal edge to kind of
Yeah,
bring that out. I think that'd be cool. And then probably because since they're elemental nymphs, then I might try to put in like the air symbol and the water symbol and then the earth symbol.
that's
Oh,
cool. Well,
Tim said, what about arrows? Arrows would work. Hammers and
I could see
how
like a
we pull
long
them.
arrow down like the main spine, and then turn it. You can
Oh,
have like an air symbol, or the turn it the other way. Yeah, that's cool.
oh, that would be really cool. What about for one of your books? What would you pick?
Oh my, I don't know. I mean, I guess it all depends on the book. I guess I could be kind of lazy, and for my first book, Asara's Claw, since it's a white tiger, but it's in blue, have like blue with white stripes, kind of on the edging.
Ooh.
But that would be very simple because what I've seen is, I have seen a couple. I've seen some really fancy ones where someone was painting a dragon and like a sword, and I was like, whoa, well, let's start simple.
Wow.
But like a lot of people do kind of almost stencil sprayed edges. And so something that's
Yeah.
simple and like a pattern would look good. So I would just have to think about it. Yeah.
I think that would be easier to recreate too, because you don't want something too intricate that, it's going to look different if you try to do it again. So I like the
Unless you
stencil idea.
unless you do that one of a kind, I'm charging you $100 right now, special edition.
Gosh, seriously.
5 year
And
anniversary, go.
it's Annabelle. And was that the book that you just got 400 reviews for? I just saw that video today.
The lady in the blue. So
That
yeah,
is
I was really excited because like
amazing.
for me, I mean, again, doing everything the wrong way the first time, it's taken me a long time to figure things out. So,
Right.
like I said, those achievements, every author is going to reach an achievement at a different stage, and you just have to celebrate them. So that was a big one for me. I was like, yay, 400!
Gosh, I can't even like dream about reaching 400. That's amazing. How did you do that? Because I'll have a lot of people who are like, "Hey, I loved your book. It was so good." And I was like, "Hey, thanks. Like, do you think you can leave a review?" And they never will leave a review.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is to do with it's the longest one I've had out, and it's also because of that, it's the one I've advertised the most,
Okay.
and it's a volumes game. I think a few years ago the rule was at least 1 out of 10. I don't know if the number has grown. Leave a review. So you have to make 10 sales for a review, and there is a numbers component, but I was lucky this past fall that I actually had an ad that was doing well, so I was selling a lot of those copies.
Oh,
Again,
nice.
since then the algorithms changed and it's all crickets, so I'm like making no sales. But it took a while. It was a very slow process and little by little. So it's just one of those things. You just have to work at it.
Yeah, just keep going. That's awesome, though. So,
Thank
do
you.
you do Amazon ads or Goodread ads or Facebook ads?
I have been doing originally I did way back in the day. If like Create Space, I did a few Amazon ads, but again, change of algorithm, couldn't
Yeah.
figure out how to do it. So I stopped those and started Facebook, which I figured out, and they were working for a while, but just this past year, since the new year hit, everything kind of
Oh,
plateaued. So I'm still trying to test out and see if it's images, text,
mhm.
what, but I'm also working with someone right now because I was just curious, someone who's consulting me and going to be testing out ads for SARS Clause on Amazon to see if she could bring life back into it So we're
Oh,
playing around with
nice.
ideas. So hopefully we can figure it out. If not, I'll have to do plan C, D, wherever I am.
Right. Just latch on to something and
Yeah.
try.
Yeah. I have not tried Goodreads or BookBub ads, so I
Yeah.
cannot tell you here today. How about you?
I've
Have you done
heard,
anything like
no.
that?
I've heard that Goodreads ads are great, but they're really expensive.
Mhm.
So I haven't done that one yet. I've tried a couple of Facebook ads and I got like, maybe 2 or 3 sales. That one was okay, but I just I haven't really been using Facebook. I don't use
Oh no, no.
Facebook or Instagram. I don't do any of that. So anything that I do, it's gonna be here or
Oh yeah.
maybe Twitter, but mainly here.
Oh yeah. I have a question, and this may be something you might want to answer. Asking from David asking, is Goodreads a popular platform? I know my idea of it, but what is your idea of it?
Um, I don't do like anything on Goodreads. I know a lot of authors do have a very good presence on there. I have not taken the time to figure it out yet. And I've also noticed that people are like kind of mean on Goodreads, like with their reviews. So I tend to
It's hard.
stay away. Sometimes I'll go on when I'm feeling like it's okay, I can take it, and then I'll read their stuff, and I'm like, oh, why did I do that? So it's really really good for some people. I don't even know how to like track how many books I've read. I'm awful with Goodreads.
And I think that's it is a platform that if you are a reader, and some readers love it because they do. They track their books, they can even log in what page they are in the book and how far they are on their progress, and they put in what they want to read. And so for readers, I can see the ease of it. And like you said, I know there are authors who use it and love that platform because there is a
Yeah.
lot of things. There are chats, there are book groupings that if you get your book
Right.
listed in a group that could help you be found and everything. And so there's a lot of things that has potential. I, like you, have not played around with it as much.
Yeah.
I know a few tips and tricks on the author side of things. For instance, someone told me it was like, if you're an author, don't use the what I'm reading to talk about what you're reading. Post your latest book. So people, when they're looking at you, see your
Oh,
book and get that. But like, I do know also Goodreads um, sometimes pulls more reviews than Amazon, depending on book by book.
yeah.
I'll have some Goodreads books, some of my books on Goodreads that'll have almost double of what they have on Amazon review wise. But like you
Really?
said, they can be a little cattier
Just
on
like,
that one.
oh.
So it just depends. But there's a lot of potential on there. I know they have a blog opportunity and a Q&A area and all the
Yeah.
stuff, again, trying to build engagement between authors and readers. I don't maximize that, but I'm also already stretched thin enough on other platforms.
Seriously. Oh my gosh. No one told me that I would have to market
Oh
every
yeah,
single day of my life.
oh yeah,
Every single
every day,
day.
every day. I now
Oh
live by auto posting. Like if I have a platform and know how, I haven't figured out Instagram, but know how to
my
set
God.
up auto posts, I will do them for like a set of days. So then I'll have like a breath, and I'll do them for a set of days and have a breath. This
Oh,
platform unfortunately doesn't do that.
yeah.
So if I don't remember to press go, I have a lot of like saved drafts things ready to go. But if I don't remember,
Right. Yep.
let's see.
And
Oh, sorry.
sorry, with TikTok in particular, I've noticed it's kind of like a cyclical pattern where I'll be doing really, really well. Like this past week, I had several videos go, several thousand views, which was great, and like a couple of them popped. And then, like if you watch, like next week, I'm not gonna get over 130 views on anything that I post, no matter what. So on those weeks, I've come to expect them, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'll do like a throwaway video that I don't really care about. It's just something funny with like a new filter or something. Or I'll just stay off altogether. And that's really nice because mentally I'm like, it's a trash week anyway. I'm not missing out on anything, so I don't stress.
Oh yeah.
So it's and because we see it all the time where people are like, oh my god, like my views have tanked, like what's happened, like what's going on, and it's doing it on purpose. Like it wants you to freak out because it wants you to keep posting and posting and
Mhm.
posting. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna play your game. That's fine. I'll go play solitaire. I'm fine. Like, and I just
Yeah.
won't even come on. So
I have.
it's hard.
Oh yeah. I have a couple comments. One said, check out Daniel Green on YouTube. It might help. So I don't know if Daniel Green is so helpful on Goodreads or one of the other platforms we talked about, but that popped up
Okay.
around that time. And then
Okay.
David said, anytime I post about my book rating guide on this app, it just smothers it. There are certain things, for whatever reason, it feels like it suppresses.
Oh
But,
my god. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
It's awful. And it's always the videos that you work so hard on, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. It goes really great with this audio, and the effects are just mwah. And it's like 59 views, and you're like, fuck! It's so maddening.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, but that's the thing is like when they were talking about how this platform has one of the most I guess its algorithm causes the most engagement. Part of it's probably the frustration aspect because people just
Yeah.
start like throwing things and like really
Yes.
trying to like up their level of stuff. But yeah, kind of like you, it's like I figured out because I post a couple times a day, and so I always have an engage like kind of like what you have prompts on Twitter. I do like a question a day here, so I'm always going to do something like that because I've built a number of followers that just like that. Now I don't know if they're ever going to read my stuff, but they come on and they love to talk and try to
That's
answer whatever the
awesome.
question is, and it's just a lot of fun. And so it's kind of one of those things. It's like, okay, I'm not pitching my work, but it is
Right.
kind of a fun engagement. And I know
Yeah.
they're definitely going to be a group of people that purposely check in just to see what the question is. So that's always nice.
And I think that's great too, because you need to have that variety on your page. Like it can't just be my book, my book, my book, my book, because like that's annoying. Like nobody wants that. So having that like opportunity to engage with them without trying to sell, like people really respect that, and it shows you as an author and as a person. So I think they're able to connect more with you, and like you said, I mean they look forward to that every day. So like for me, that's why I'll do videos like about my kids or my husband or my cat, because it can't just be your book 24/7, because it like I said, it annoys me, like and I
Yeah,
can't think about anything all the time for my books. So
that's true. And it's, some people want to get to know the person behind the books too. So it's nice to
right,
also be like, this is what I do, on the day to day, or this is what my
exactly.
office looks like, a wreck, and
Yeah,
stuff like
showing
that.
that, yeah, that you're that relatable person, that it just it makes them want to watch you, and then eventually hopefully read your books.
Exactly. You want to get them
Yeah.
invested in you, which helps
Yes.
them then invest in your books. That is the
That's
the author
right.
side of things. I know. But okay, going back to the comment about Daniel Green on YouTube, the answer is he is a booktuber,
Oh,
self-published, and has done some interviews with a couple of fairly famous authors. Ooh, cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that YouTube is a platform that I'm trying to be better about, but pretty much what I do is repurpose like these these chats. But it's nice also because then people can use them as references, and also then I add your links below, and then people can find whoever I'm talking with, and hopefully, So I like that one, and then I also do a series because I write fantasy on mythological entities and creatures and stuff like that. So
Awesome.
that
That's
is my
really
extent
cool.
of YouTube.
You're better than me. My friend Brad, he's like, you need to get on YouTube. Get on YouTube. And like you said earlier, like I'm already on this one. I'm already on Twitter. Like I dabble like once a month in Instagram. Like I don't have time. I'm on Kindle Vella, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't there's so many platforms that authors are supposed to be, and I don't have the mental capacity or energy to deal with that. And I'm just like, nope, I'm gonna stick where I am right now. Like, if TikTok crashes and burns, then maybe I'll go to YouTube.
Yeah, no, for me, it's like I repurpose. So if I'm
Yeah,
putting energy into something, I'm going to maximize that use. So if I do a video here, I'm going to download it without the logo and then upload it other places.
that's so
Repurpose.
smart. And I think that's been my problem, because every time I post a video from TikTok to Twitter, it bombs. It does so bad. And I don't know if it's because the algorithm is suppressing it because it has the TikTok logo, because I don't know how to get it off. So,
There are
or
definitely apps. There are some apps. I can't remember the one I use, but there are definitely some apps, free apps you can download, and they just remove that. But also, you have to think about it. Twitter is very um it's a written medium. People like words.
yeah,
Even when I post things with images, I feel like the images get less views than whatever for whatever reason than the ones that are just pure words. So I think that's that
right,
platform. For
right.
instance, Instagram, because it's very visual, sometimes a video that got suppressed or something here, I put over there, and all of a sudden people are in love with it, but it's the same video.
Interesting. It's so funny. And I've tried on Instagram and I just get nothing but bots. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
there are a lot of
send
bots. There are a
author
lot.
swarm. And I don't care. Like, I don't want to deal with it. So, but that's a great point, how Instagram is a much more visual platform.
Depends on the platform. And David was asking you, has Kindle Vella been good for you? Because I guess he's been trying to figure that one out. And
Oh,
he said, Caitlin, I found a great website I used to remove the watermark. He'll message you the link, and then I can always let you know the app that I use. But there you go. Yeah. So
thank you, David. So what I found with Vela, I had friends who were trying to convince me to do it for like a year, but I was really nervous because you have to consistently post like new episodes of your stories. And I didn't want to get so caught up in writing stories for that I kind of, neglected my books. So that's why I kind of stopped. But I had all these short stories that were just sitting on my computer, and I was like, hey, I'll just post these up. So they're not very long. Most people do like full books with like, I don't know, hundreds of episodes. My longest one is like 9 episodes, so they're very short. But it's been really good. The first 2 months that I did it, I made about $50 in like bonuses, and that was with a very low reader base. I don't know how they calculate those bonuses. I don't know if it's like depending on how much you post
yeah, I
or
think someone said that. Yeah.
yeah. So that I tried to get really consistent with that. February, I went really hard, and I was posting new episodes every single day of a story. Facebook, I've found, has been really good. I'm in this one group. I had some issues with a different one, but I was in another group, and they've been really great. I just put up one post about one story a day, and I'll get about 6 to 7 like readers, and then they'll read multiple episodes. So that's been really nice and like consistent, without me doing a ton of marketing, because before I thought I had to read like every single person's posts and their stories for them to read mine. But it doesn't really work that way, especially in this group. They don't like read for reads. So
That makes
I
sense.
would just go on, I'd pick a couple, and then a couple people would read mine. So it works out really nicely, and it's a lot less stress.
Mhm.
And in February, I actually made like $140, like just on Vela. So that was great. It was a lot of work, so I scaled way back in March. So I don't anticipate March to be very profitable, but I like that I did go hard in February because now I know what I'm going to make if I go hard, so I can play with it the way I want. I know some authors who make thousands of dollars every single month on Vela, and I don't know how they do it. Like, it's a lot of work.
Well, I've talked to other authors who kind of like you like it for certain things, not so much for other things. And I'm trying to remember who it was, but one of the strategies was already have a book written, but
Yeah.
instead of going to KDP or Ingram Sparks, that's when you start breaking it up and putting it out there, letting it go until it looks like the reads are dropping down, and then taking it off and doing that. There is like a 30-day buffer or whatever before you
Right.
can put it back up, but then they move it over to a more permanent platform afterwards, but they're trying to milk the system so they get readers there and then moving it that way. And I don't know if that's better or worse than just going straight to publishing it wide or
Right.
through KDP or whatever you're choosing. But I did hear that strategy and I was like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. And because I know that they have you certainly can take that story and then publish it. I think you
There's
have to wait like 30 days. Yeah, that buffer zone. So I mean that's really nice and it's great. It's a great tool. Right now, because it's still in its infancy, the only readers on there are other authors that I've found. So it is kind of difficult because there's no organic reach yet for Kindle Vella. So I'm
they don't
hoping
market
in
it.
the what'd you say?
I said, as far as I know, Zon doesn't market it that much.
Oh, it doesn't. Like most of the authors, like when I've posted on TikTok or Twitter, they don't even know what it is. I've never even heard of it before. So it's still very, very new. And I I think it's great. Like it's a nice little way to kind of get your stories out there and get some reads, but it does require a lot of energy because if I wasn't in the Facebook groups promoting it, I would have zero reads.
So let me ask you this, because this is something when I hear or talk to a Kindle Vella author or someone who's been familiarized with it, um, of the work that you put out there, what is the genre that did best for you? Because I've heard certain people in certain genres do far better than others. So
Oh,
that's what.
probably.
So I don't know what
Um,
you've been writing genre-wise, because you're talking about doing a little bit of spice now and doing some of these like
yeah.
true horror anthologies or your fantasy horror, dark fantasy horror stuff. So what are you writing for Villa theme-wise?
So I actually put this short story, the Snow White body retelling, on there, and that one has done the best.
Okay.
Um, yes, my horror have done very, very well. I have another one that's kind of like a sci-fi Alice in Wonderland on the moon, and that one's done really well. But then I have another one. It's a troll and it's a sapphic romance, like a spicy sapphic romance. And that one has not
Oh,
really done
interesting.
well.
Okay.
So I think I don't know if it's based on genre or if it's just about, oh, someone said, I read the moon one. Yay! That's so cool that you read that one. Thank you. I think it's mainly based off of like, which authors are pushing what stories. Because, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of organic reach, and a lot of people because you can do polls on Vella at the end of each episode, and shorter shorter ones do best, between 600 to 800 words, because you have to spend tokens. So the less amount of tokens, the more someone is amped to read your story. So I try to keep all of mine 10 or under. And I think it's mainly, like I was saying, it's genre does play into it, but I've seen so many different genres. I think a lot of like paranormal romances and like shifter romances, I think those do really, really well on Bella.
And I thought I heard, like, again, this is not like chance. I was trying to remember who I've all talked to and try to get the lines, everything straight. But cozy romance, I thought was doing well on there.
Oh,
But
okay.
but I had an author who was thriller, and he did not do well, and he took
Yeah.
everything off. So again, I wasn't sure if it was a genre thing or, like you said, it's who's pushing what. But yeah, it's a good point of like keeping stuff shorter, which David was asking. You know, he was thinking about re-releasing his epic fantasy through Kindle Vella, but he's hesitant. Now, the only thing about epic fantasy is those are lengthy stories usually, so you would really have to be, I guess, aware of how you're breaking up the story to keep people
Yeah.
interested.
And that's exactly it.
Yeah,
Because
because you want to keep it interesting. Yeah.
right, and you don't want to, because I'll be reading a story and I'll be really into it, and then I'll go to, because you get the first 3 episodes for free, and then after that you have to pay your tokens. So I was reading this one and it was really, really good, and then I went to episode 4 and it was like, pay 37 tokens, and I was like, what?
Oh god.
I said, I don't think so. So you definitely need to be aware of your readers. And I mean, I don't know how much that equates to money wise. I usually buy 500 tokens for about $5. So one episode would be basically the same amount as like buying the ebook. And that's just a sliver of the story. So it's very hard to kind of play with and forecast what someone will or won't pay to read your story. So I just on average, I've found the shorter ones do better.
Can you wait? And you said they assign the tokens, or do you assign the token cost?
The author. So because based on word count, it can go up to 5,000 words. So if you pay that one that was 37 tokens, it was 3,700 words for that episode. So that's how they break it up. But I mean, 37 tokens, that's a ton. Like if someone only buys 100 tokens, then they can only read that one episode plus just a handful of others. So that's why the shorter ones do better on Bella.
Well, David was saying, yeah, his former publisher originally released Origins as 8 ebooks, and it did great. So yeah, so you just have to, I guess, decide, how you want to, if you are interested in that, how you want to break it up, and make sure the endings are interesting enough that people want to move on, and also the next ones aren't too expensive.
Yeah.
I think that's the summary.
Yes, that's exactly it. You have to put them on just enough of a cliffhanger to make them read the next episode. And so it is tricky with those token things, but I think it's worth a shot, David. I would give it a go, definitely.
Well, if you do, David, you have to let us know how it goes, because I keep listening to like Kindle Vella, but again, and kind of thinking about it, but I'm not sure the way I write it would work for me unless I really changed how I write things.
Oh no!
I love cliffhanger endings on my chapters, so my chapters are still, I don't know, decent size at times. So I would have to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because sometimes I'll like push it and I'm like, oh no, this is like 11 tokens, but like you said, it's hard to find that break where I can go back and be like, okay, so it's a little tricky. Oh, I have another comment. I read one of the top 10 stories for research. It was almost 100 episodes, and
Wow.
she spent $25 on it. So,
The book.
I mean, that's but that's more than the book would have been. So, I guess it just depends on each reader individually, and it was almost 100 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. I give you a lot of credit. That's awesome. So but that's pretty for 100 episodes. $25. Again, I wish I knew more about the tokens and like how they kind of broke that up and how much each one is. But that's really interesting. I'll have to look more into it. I only do because I have my tokens just to do other reads for other authors. So then I'll get some. So
And it's research. And it's research. You figure out something doing well, being like, why is this one?
why is this one so good? And if you can let us know what genre was that story that you read, because as we were wondering, like what made you read all 100 episodes because that's a really big commitment. And I don't know how quickly the author was putting them out, but sometimes authors only put one out a week or, once every few days. So then
And
you
that
have
also,
to remember.
mhm. And it also could do something with like how the author's writing the story. Like if it's already
Yeah.
done, you could put one out one a day. If
Oh,
it's not
definitely.
done, it may take you a week to write the next episode.
You gotta get it. You gotta get working.
Yep,
And
and
she's
Dave was
oh,
saying
go
too
ahead.
that they don't offer free tokens for leaving book reviews.
Oh,
Problem solved.
that would be amazing. That would be so cool. I will pay you tokens. And she said it was fantasy romance. So, yep. So that like that paranormal kind of thing that I had said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And she said each episode was 25 to 35 tokens. Wow. I just wanted to understand, but that's a lot of money for a book, and I totally understand that. I probably wouldn't have paid that. Like I was saying with the 37 token episode, like I was just like, absolutely not, and I just like backed up. I like the highest I went was like 12 tokens. I was like, meh. So that's
Well,
really interesting.
it also could be, again, it's one of those strategy games, kind of like when you price your own books. The higher the
Yeah,
price, the more you make per sale. The lower the price, the more sales you may make on a wide scale because people
right,
don't like spending a lot of money. So,
right.
it's figuring out where's that sweet spot. Do you want to only sell to like 5 people but get, a chunk of change, or, sell to like hundreds but, you're still scraping for money. So you have to find that nice little sweet spot.
Right. And I had done a video a while ago where I was at a craft fair and there was a woman next to me and she was selling these blankets and they looked beautiful and I touched one and it was soft and lovely and she was selling those blankets for like $95 and that's a lot. Like that's a lot for a blanket.
Yup.
And like I understand, like, I heard her listening because people were asking, how long did this take you? And it took her 7 hours to make each blanket. So I was like, okay. And then I'm looking at my books and I'm having, this one is only $12 and people are like, no, that's too much. And I was like, so it was just really funny to see because we're both artists and what some people will pay and like just like the value that people place on different things. And so it was just really interesting. And but it's hard. It's very hard to compare because not a lot of people understand how much goes into
Yes.
creating a book. And they're like, oh, well, you just buy them by the bulk and you can just sell them. She has to make every individual blanket. I understand that, but it only takes her 7 hours. Like this
Yeah.
book took me 12 years, people.
Yes, and I know you can resell it to an extent, but yes, it takes you all that time, that
Yeah,
energy, and then it's all the other fees that go with it, icing, copyright, book cover, editors, blah blah blah, and then the holding sites, your websites, and and maybe the blanket person has some of them the same thing too. I get that, but
right,
yes, it is interesting where people value and understand or not understand what things cost. And so, yeah, I
right.
think the thing that it's the one thing I'm usually pretty thick skinned about a lot of things, but the one thing that does ruffle me is when someone's like, I can't afford your $2 book on,
Right.
ebook. And I had someone literally reach out to me and was like, I can't afford, it was priced $2.99. It was like too expensive. Can you just summarize the story? And I was like,
Oh
like,
no!
no.
Yeah,
No,
and like
absolutely not. Then you don't
no,
value
and
it. No.
exactly. And the amount of people that I've had, like friends of mine who are like, oh, hey, yeah, I'd love to read that. Can I get a copy? And they just assume I can just give it away to them for free. And like, I spent thousands of dollars to get this and thousands of hours. And it's so frustrating where it's really hard. But then like on the flip side, like, no, I'm not going to spend $45 on a book because that'd be insane. It's just, so it's really hard to kind of assign that level of value because we put a ton of effort into it. Like, there was this girl, I was at a Comic-Con and she was drawing these really cool, like, you as a, in your Harry Potter house and your Patronus. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want that. But it was $25 and she was done in 10 minutes. And again, 12 years. And I sell this for $18. I'm like, ah!
Yeah. It's always interesting, but like, everybody has the right to value their own stuff. And again, the artist could argue, you know, they spent 20 years learning their craft so they can make you a 10-minute, you know, image. So as an artist, I understand some of that side of things where it's like time and money and stuff, but kind of like you, like there's a lot of back that goes along that people don't see, but it's hard. It's hard. So, definitely. And David Parker was like, oh my God, yes, when people ask for free books when you're only selling them at cost is the worst.
It's like, please, like, and then like you're already out there like trying to be vulnerable with your work, and they're just like, no, it's not worth it. As they walk by with like the $9 latte, and you're just like, okay, have a great day.
Enjoy your drink for the next 5 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, if they don't value the book, then they're probably not the one who's going to enjoy reading it. So, you know.
And that's exactly it. So, it's just funny.
Well, since we actually rounded the hour plus some, let me ask like the basics to make sure everybody, when I repurpose this on YouTube, website, what is it? Where can people find you? Where can people buy your books? Let us throw those things.
All right, so I'm awful. My website, I think it's Books by Caytlyn, and that's like a Wix website. So Books by Caytlyn, I think that's the website. I'm on Twitter, TikTok. My handle is Caytlyn Brooke, author. And I do a little bit on Instagram. Again, it's like author Caytlyn Brooke, and Caytlyn Brooke on Facebook as well. You can find all of my books on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, my website, as well as my publisher's website for now. It's bhcpress.com.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I would just make sure people can go and find your stuff, because that's kind of important as well. Well, thank you for hanging out with me for the last hour and a quarter. And if you know, but seriously, if you ever want to do this again before another year, just feel free to reach out. I do them weekly. They're just like this. They're just chats.
No, this is great. I would definitely love to do it more frequently. I am awful, and my brain at the end of the night is just mush, so I don't even think about it. So if you let me know when you're free, I will make time.
Perfect. Well, thank you, and have a wonderful evening. And I'll be keeping in touch. And hopefully, David, you let us know how you do or what you decide about Kindle Vella, and I'll be keeping track on you on your future successes, Caytlyn, and how you kind of excited.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Katharine.
Bye. Have a great night.
You too.